Hello, Year 5, and welcome to your English lesson for Wednesday. During this week, what we're going to do is we're going to be carrying on writing your stories. On Teams, what I'm going to do is each day we'll have a different Word document that you're going to add to. But the starter activities for each day are going to be to go back and edit and respond to feedback from a member of staff that has given you feedback. So you will have to be looking at the previous day's learning as well. And you will also probably need to access Monday's learning to make sure that you've got access to your plan. So make sure that you keep going back and using what you've already done to help you with your story. So let's have a look and see. So your starter is to go into yesterday's learning and to edit and correct anything that you've had feedback from either myself or from any other member of staff that has commented on your work. So go back through yesterday's writing and see if you need to make any corrections or see if you can make any improvements. Okay, so let's have a look and see. So here is our model text again, and it's also saved in the resource section of Teams underneath the video. I'll read out to you the bit that we're focusing on today, which is the build-up. So, well, that year a stranger arrived in town. You couldn't miss him. He wore a long flowing coat made of many bright colours. Many joked that it was Joseph, and soon he became known as Brightman. Word got around that he had said that he could rid the town of their problem for the right sum of money. The elders of the town met and agreed that if indeed he could rid the town of rats, they would pay him handsomely. Well, the deal was sealed with a shake of the hand, and no sooner than this was agreed, Brightman pulled out a strange pipe and began to play a melodious tune. The townsfolk were amazed because all the rats began to stream out of the houses and barns, following Brightman as he strode through the streets. And what a sight it was! The tall piper leading the way, followed by 1,000 rats squealing and squeaking after him. It looked like a living river streaming out behind him. Brightman led his strange procession out of the town, across the down, and onto where the Weisse River flowed. There he paused before taking off his coat and plunging into the waters. Amazingly, the rats followed, thousands of them swarming into the water till for a moment it seemed to boil with their bodies. But the current there is strong, and a few minutes later there was silence. The rats had drowned, and already their bodies were drifting down the stream to wash up on the banks over the next few miles where they lay rotting for the next few weeks. So there is your build-up from our model text. And you can see in the build-up here, it's a smaller problem is encountered in terms of the town's rat problem. It's not the main problem. The main problem of the story is Brightman not being paid and then what he goes on to do from there. So, but you might want to add a small problem that gets overcome relatively easily in your legends, depending on what sort of legend you are writing. That's the wrong way. So some of the things that we need to really focus on today, including a setting from the past. Hopefully most of you have done that already, but if your character moves to a different setting, you might need to reintroduce that with another setting description. Fronted adverbials of time throughout are really important to make sure that we are making it very clear and emphasizing the order that things happen in. Relative clauses to give more information are really important as well. Describing a human hero, it might be that your hero wasn't mentioned very much in your preamble, so this would be the time to introduce that person. For example, in the model text, it starts telling you about what Brightman was wearing more than his appearance, but you might want to do a bit of both. Use a wide range of sentence lengths, accurately use speech marks, or use dialogue to progress the story. Use show, don't tell to describe a setting. And then the moral and the preamble you won't need to worry about today. Here are some of the different things that you will want to look for because these are our year 5 objectives. I won't go through all of them, but things like using dialogue to progress the scene. Maybe you, if you're doing something similar to the Pied Piper of Hamelin, maybe you could have discussions of the of a conversation between the elders explaining that. Sorry, someone's just looking at me through the window. Explaining that there is no money to pay them with or something like that. So there is the next slide of information. And then the final slide, obviously handwriting, because we're typing at the moment, won't be as important. So what does your build-up need to include? Your build-up needs to have what happens in the story to take us to your main problem. So you've done your introductions. What is going to happen between that and the problem? Hopefully you should have it quite clear in your head what the problem's going to be. How are you going to get us to that stage? And are we given clues about the problem? Do people talk about it a lot and that sort of thing? And how can you build up tension as well? So I look forward to seeing your pieces of work, and hopefully I will read them very soon.